Good morning. We are in the process of beginning a study on the Gospel of Matthew. We're going to call this study Matthew and the Kingdom. We're going to begin a several week long study by a few introductory remarks. If we're to understand the Gospel of Matthew, we need to understand how it builds off of and ties into the Old Testament idea of the kingdom of God. So let us begin with 1 Samuel chapter 8 and verses 1 to 9. When Samuel became old, he made his sons judges over Israel. The name of his firstborn son was Joel, and the names of his second, Abijah. They were judges in Beersheba. Yet his sons did not follow in his ways, but turned aside after gain. They took bribes and perverted justice. Then all the elders of Israel gathered together and came to Samuel at Ramah and said to him, "You are old, and your sons do not follow in your ways. Anoint for us then a king to govern us like other nations." But the thing displeased Samuel when they said, "Give us a king to govern us." Samuel prayed to the Lord. And the Lord said to Samuel, "Listen to the voice of the people and all they say to you, for they have not rejected you, but they have rejected me from being king over them, just as they have done to me from the day I brought them up out of Egypt to this day, forsaking me and serving other gods. So also they are doing this to you." Ideas are powerful. Now, ideas can be good or bad. So clearly, to have ideas that are bad and powerful can lead to misery, destruction, and more. In 1848, a small pamphlet was published in Europe, and this was at the end of the Napoleonic Wars. The Napoleonic Wars stretched from about 1803 to 1815. After that, there was the Congress of Vienna in 1814 and 1815, which was a time of transition. The Congress of Vienna tried, simplified verdict, to address social changes in Europe by reverting to the past. The problem, of course, is that ignoring present difficulties by reverting to the past does not solve problems. In this time of social change, Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels published in 1848 the document known as the Communist Manifesto. One of the great drivers of social change in the 19th century was industrialization. This, in turn, transformed the nature of work. Marx and Engels were addressing issues in that day and age and offering a sense of where things were going. It would take the 20th century to show how wrong they got things. In the same way, the 20th century would also show how wrong the Congress of Vienna got things. The First World War basically undid what the Congress of Vienna tried to revert to. So we have two prescriptions for what ailed society in the 19th century, and both failed. In a different era, in a different area of the world, the people of Samuel's day were looking for a prescription to the issues of their day. In verse 5 of our passage, we are told that the people wanted a king because that was the way things were done in that time and place. The people believed that the answer to their problem was to have a king, like the nations around them. You see, in every day and age, there are issues and problems that must be addressed. Some are real and some are not. In fact, the desire to deal with pressing issues of the day can actually make things worse. The presumed solution may have consequences that people do not realize at the time. the history of Israel and then the history of Judah and Israel. Remember that shortly thereafter, the kingdom was founded under David. It was split under his grandson, Rehoboam. Israel was in the north, Judah in the south. And so Israel's history showed that kings did not solve all the problems, and at times made things worse. When we are told in our passage in 1 Samuel that God was to be the king of the people, Israel, you realize to seek a king was to reject God. What we are talking about when we talk about the kingdom of God is the idea that God is to be the sovereign and rule of his people. It is a foundational biblical idea. It is an idea that finds its roots in the Old Testament and is foundational to the teaching of Jesus. So what is it that the world needs? It needs to embrace the kingdom of God. The problem is that in every day and age, people reject that for what they see as the solution for what ails society.